The thoughts and views of this podcast and the sole views of the curators of this podcast is not the views of United States Postal Service.
How does he do it? Do it.
On the route test run, talking about the post office going private, if there was to actually happen, how the process would actually occur. So like we were saying, like if it was to go private, pretty much like the job might lose its federal status, but we probably would get paid more because the union would try to negotiate that we start out at like $30 an hour the way UPS does for the lower people, but we probably max out at probably maybe 40. You know what I mean? Instead of it being the long range that it is. But we probably would lose a lot of those government holidays that we get. You know what I mean? But I think they would also force out all the people that's been here plus 30 years because they're looking at it like the way this job pays, now that we're paying people more money, we don't need anybody staying past 30. We'll give you a grace period, 32. You know what I mean? But by then you got to go. And either you get laid off or you're going to actually retire, which would then enable all the CCAs to now get converted at a higher rate probably. Instead of waiting 2 years, it might be a year and a half. Because the average age in the post office is 55 years old.
But would that be like is that what normal city jobs do? Like, do they force you out after 30? Or do they give you that grace period of 32? Or it's versus how much they make. A lot of them do make more than us. Like SEPTA definitely makes more than we do, especially after that grace period or what do you call it? Their 90-day period or whatever. But how would that work as opposed to what the post office is doing now, and as opposed to what they're doing, if it does privatize?
Well, that's the thing about our job. Like, would it really be a city job, even though we're like nationwide? Because I think they would probably have to make a whole new parameter for it. Because this isn't like SEPTA, where SEPTA is only strictly for Pennsylvania, you know what I mean, for as a headquarters. We're the entire country. So I don't know if they would call us federal. We'll be under the classification of whatever Walmart might be under, or Target, because they're all over the country too. Which would give them the right to kind of be like, all right, if you've been here past 32 years, you have to leave now because we're not trying to pay you the max rate of $40.
So the thing is now, when you open the window, man, you over there. So the thing now going private, you open the window for us now. Now you open for jobs far as temporary, basically. You work for people like far as like agencies now. So the thing is now they get rid of people more so because the fact that you have agencies. You have agencies now where like far as like agencies come in now can take people jobs where the point they can fire CCA quicker. If they can put it at a lower rate now to the point where if I hire an agency, I can hire somebody at $9 an hour because it's private now to the point. So I'm saving money. Yo, come on. You see,
It's a test run.
you say what I'm talking.
This is all good stuff. This is a
No,
test
that's what I'm
run.
talking. No, so like jobs like Randstad, beats like that now can take over people. So now the thing is advertising now. I can get rid of a person now to the point where I can say, all right, cool. I can make a job temporary to the point where if I want to hire you, yeah. if I want to hire you now, basically I can put you in the window where the point, all right, Randstad, we can put you in a job for 30 days. Basically, it's not guaranteed.
I hire you for a 6-month period.
6-month period now. So now it's killing the jobs point now because the companies save money now. So now the point is like, all right, I don't need you no more. Like you said, I can fire the old people now. But look, you don't want this job. I can get somebody here at $9 an hour and want it, and it's willing to take over for it because it's need of it.
See, I think the thing with that is like if you were to, that would work with a job where you didn't have to walk the streets and walk a route because every route is different. You know what I'm saying? Like you just can't bring somebody in off the street and have them do the job properly and do it the same time rate because you're paying them about an hour.
If you're looking at the logistics, I think a good blueprint would probably be SEPTA, looking at how they deal with that shit. So what the...
So, I mean, with SEPTA, my thing is, from experience, SEPTA thing is, they're their own private thing. So my thing is, they have no competitor. So it does work in that instance too because the post office is its own thing and it has no competition. So you can make your own set rate too at the point. So my thing is now you got to make a deal with the city at some point or where you at far as locally for as like your township, wherever you are in this. It's going to be more agreements with that now. At some point, we're not going to be united. We're going to be individual because you have a city carrier say, well, this is that and third. And you go to the next town and be like, well, we don't abide by the same rules and regulations here.
Well, that's kind of similar to like rural carriers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a private sector would stop it from being rural carriers make more than city carriers because a private person that like a private board of directors that take over this would be like, why are we paying these guys more than these guys when they do exactly the same job? Let's just pay everybody the same rate because that's just easier to negotiate.
Yeah, I don't even know why they separated that from the beginning.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It makes no sense whatsoever.
Well, you also cancel the things now with us too. At the point now, like so, like you said, people leaving early now. So the point is, I can do what I want now because it's a flat rate now. So you can't hold anybody accountable for certain things now because we all have a flat rate for this. So if I get done early, you can't hold me accountable for the old rules and regulations now because we all have the same flat rate.
You're getting paid for the route.
You're getting paid for the route, but you're not getting paid for the hourly service. I'm getting paid for what it is.
If that's implemented, that changes everything. Because if you're getting paid for the time of the route or the allotted time of the route, that changes because then it's just that. So you're just getting paid for that no matter if you leave early or if you leave late. Versus to me in that way, do you really need a union then?
Yeah, because that's part of the reason why like they trying being private might be a good idea because of all the mess ups in the post office as far as mail deliveries.
Yep.
Yeah, absolutely, because I think people would be a little more efficient doing their job if they knew that you didn't have so much of a crazy safety net. You know what I'm saying? Like
this is the guaranteed time.
and then imagine if this shit goes public because half of the private jobs stay private for about 5 years until they prove that they're profitable. Whereas the post office, I don't think would last 5 years being private. I think people know it's profitable, but they would just go through the rings of we gotta let it play out in this new way that it is, and then you yourself could invest in the job that you work in.
But y'all also is the biggest category. My thing is now, how do you predetermine overtime now? To the point is now, how do you cost it out? So my thing is too overtime. So my thing is now, I don't gotta give you 4 hours. I can give you an hour basically. Or I can say overtime is a certain thing here. So now the thing is, the private company got you by your balls head because now they predetermine overtime. And back before we had to determine overtime. So now it's like you're giving up more than.
So what you do is you basically just pay everybody a salary, like make it worth their while, like 6-figure salary. I mean,
yeah, but then once again, how you redetermine the workload, the mail volume on Monday after a holiday.
You just get done when you get done.
Yeah. But now you're no longer hourly, you're salary. So
exactly. Because so people not gonna mess around out on the route. You know what I mean?
That's true. They're gonna get it done.
They're gonna get it done.
Yeah. Then my thing also the downfall is now I can predetermine I can give you what I want now because the fact that now it's no more hourly rate. Like I give you what I want now. You gotta get this done. It's just 4 hours done within a flat rate.
But that's a negotiation. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But my thing is, if you make it worth people's while, if somebody's starting out, they're making $55,000 a year as a first 1 year employee, but your max salary rate is $95,000. I don't think you're going to care that you got 4 hours or 2 hours. Like you're making $95,000 a year.
I think you'll get less backlash from the carriers too.
Yeah, they're just going to come to work and do the job. Like I'm getting paid $95,000 whether I do overtime or I don't do overtime, but like if I'm maxed out, like and my maxed out rate is I don't know what 7-8 years of doing the job. Because let's be honest, why are we maxing out at 12? You know what I mean? By year 5, the person knows they want to do this job or not.
But that also goes to why people leave the post office too, because I know carriers who was regulars and then they'll leave like 4 or 5 years in and go to SEPTA because they get paid quicker. Like
Get paid quicker,
higher
yeah.
paid quicker.
Because at the end of the day, I mean, no disrespect, I don't know one person that said they wanted to be a mailman, like that there was a dream job. I like even people who are second, third generation people, like Talada, for instance. Like his mom worked in the post office. As a kid, he didn't say, "Yo, I want to be a mail person like my mom." You know what I mean? He wasn't really trying to follow her footsteps. He was just like, after he graduated high school, he didn't know what he wanted to do with himself, and he was just like, "Well, my mom did this job and made good money. Like I live in this house. Like we had food on the table. We had this. We had that. So let me just do the same thing she did because it worked for her, and it was, so why not work for me? Like, you know what I mean? Like nobody really grew up and saying that this is my dream to be a mailman. So you would think, pay these people like it is what it is. It's a job that people need because people need a mailman, but it's not a career job that people aspire to.
Also, even the thing is, the biggest thing we have an issue now is with sponsors. Like, so now the thing is, we have footwear sponsors, we have clothing sponsors, and they can make the carrier want to like, all right, I come to work, I got some equipment that fits me, basically. Like, as far as footwear, some good quality stuff. I'm out here wearing 1970s stuff or 1950s rocker wear stuff that's killing the average person. And the average person that carried them was a black man. It's not a Tom, Dick, and Harry of the white generation. So now the thing is, you have to get with the time, basically. That's what the thing is. You need more athletic gear.
Yo, you know, I'm glad you brought that up, yo. Because, like, that's a topic that we need to really, like, we need to really address to a certain degree. Like, because it's like, at a certain point, you got to realize, like, this job has been around since the country started, literally. Like, you know what I mean? Paul Revere, I think, was, like, the first, like, mail person.
The British are coming.
Yeah, that dude, yeah. You know what I'm saying? He's the first mailman, they said. Dude that was snitching on everybody from the UK.
No McDonald's required.
Yeah, no.
Speaking of snitching at McDonald's,
You know what I'm saying? So it's like,
I think we should shift gears to your man Charleston White.
oh man, what did he do now,
Oh
man?
man, this boy Charleston White, man. I feel like he is the Uncle Ruckus. I don't know why I brought this up. I don't know why I brought this up, but it's just on my mind. But like, I feel like he's just like the Uncle Ruckus, like I hate black people type time. Like,
Do you think he hate black people or just certain?
Or just niggas?
No, I'm honest with y'all. I think he's the hip hop police. He's the hip hop police, basically, within well form, because he's calling everybody on their stuff, basically, and he brings it to light. But the thing is, it's also about how do you bring a message to it too. You can't be an Uncle Sam, then be a freaking Joe Blow from the corner talking like that. You gotta have some type of intermediate with it. He's to the point where like, all right, you're relatable to a certain point, but then you actually like you saw something from the corner because I know you forgot who I am, but you can't have both ways. You can't be talking this bang bang stuff into my. All right now, I got my bags for you. Can't be that way. Like, it's just he's an idiot.
I mean, listen, man. I think he's somebody that's old and he's fed up. He's just fed up with us not being who we're supposed to be as black people. Yeah, because we've been here since 1619. Same amount of time that the white dude has been here. And we've been free, technically, as not being like property since 1863.
Physically?
Yeah, like physically. Like,
But
you know what I'm saying?
my thing with him is though also, do you want him to be your spokesman? My thing is like, for like, you're representing for the people. My thing is, all right, you're representing for what people? Like I said, not every black person is who you are.
yeah,
You got to-
he is not representing for nobody but himself.
Yeah.
This nigga is a clout chasing ass nigga. Like,
He been that way.
But see, though, but I feel like that is the wall that they use to stop niggas that's trying to wake people up, because they think everything, like when you say some real shit that's going to get people to pay attention, they automatically call you a clout chaser. But the shit he's saying, when you really break it down, and this is where I understand where he's coming from. I'm like, at a certain point, we got to learn to stop looking at the messenger and look at the message, because the clout chasing part is caring about the messenger. I can listen to your message and not give you no type of credit whatsoever. I cannot reshare what you're saying. I cannot, repost whatever you're trying to sell to people as far as like your merch or whatever. But if your message is something that I think is important, I can listen to your message and get what I need to get from you. You know what I'm saying? I feel like what he's just fed up. He's like, yo, why are we still where we are with all this technology, with all these advantages, with all these people making millions of dollars in the black community, with us having pretty much our hand over pop culture? to the point where we dictate what's cool in America.
Yeah,
My thing in the form of if he feels that strongly about his opinion, why not get into politics? My thing is you basically the hip hop politics. So my thing is you either gonna make a change or you gonna keep talking and spreading the message. Like my thing, the message dies on dead air. Basically on social media, certain networks. If you feel like that strongly about it, take it to the next level to a point and be articulate with how you say things and get your value across. Because now you're only appealing to social media and kids. And like my thing is, you're 60 years old, basically, or above age. So the average 18-year-old might hear you. He might laugh and say, "Oh, this motherfucker, he's a dickhead." But like you said, you have to appeal to all masses, basically. And I feel like he doesn't appeal like him getting on certain things, saying stuff like, "All right, cool, you're an older man from the country. You say stuff, and then you argue with an 18-year-old." So my thing is like, are you really about your message? Because you're one side of arguing with an 18-year-old, then you say one thing. It's like you can't be on both sides of the field.
The argument with the 18-year-old is the epitome of the problem. That is literally a problem. And whoever listened to that and didn't get it, whoever listened to it and didn't get it is, they don't understand what the problems are, because at the end of the day, you may not like how his message is coming across, but it is the message. Mm-hmm. That's the message that we need as, black men, black people.
My question to you, gentlemen, is what is his message?
I was going to ask the same thing. Mm-hmm. What do y'all think his message is?
Well, you go first, Brandon.
My message, I think, is the point. I think he's trying to more expose hip hop artists of who they are, what certain things they don't live in the genre. Like they're not who they're portraying to be, basically. And the thing is, you can start with Jay Princeton. Like he's portraying certain people. He's not the third, but you have to also get your message across. Say, look, black artists, get your money and do what you want to do here, A, B, C, and third. But don't keep trying to expose the person, because then you fall back in the cycle of, well, it's another black man criticize another black man. You have to get the message across to the point where you giving a message and you're ridiculing him, but you're not kind of killing him. Like, well, man, he ain't shit. I come and I kill him with a gun. Like, you can't do that. Like, you can't sit there and say that. You can't have a Malcolm message and then say have a freaking a corner boy like, man, I got the gun right here waiting for you. You can't do that. You got to even have articulate to the point where, all right, I got a message across to a point where it is and cool, but you have a name now to the point where you don't have to do it because people respect you because who you are. You're following, your followers. You have the name now.
I think what that is, right. I feel like you're right. Like how he comes across. His problem is because at the same time, people in our community, in the black community in America, we respect the alpha male, right? The nigga that that kind of can put his foot down on your neck, so to speak.
Let's just keep it real. Like people in general respect fear.
Yeah, all right, yeah. So it's like, but the delivery of it, the way he does it, is incorrect. Because you can get your point across in terms of saying what you got to say, but when the Jay Princes come at you, instead of you saying I got my gun right here, just say, listen, man, like yo, the type of shit you want, OG, that shit ain't helping our community. Knock it the fuck off. You know what I mean? If you want to do something, let me know what you want to do, and I'll meet you where you got to meet at. Because at the end of the day, I'm not scared of y'all. I'll meet you on the same playing field you want to meet on, and we can handle this like men, old school style.
They're not even OGs. My thing is, he's your peer. My thing, y'all in the same thing. So my thing is,
he's not really his peer. He's older than him by a lot.
No,
I mean, I think Charleston White is probably like somebody in his mid 40s.
50s. No,
he's not 50.
He's 45.
He's 45. So all right, so OG. My thing is, all right, still. Even OG, my thing is, probably a message of respect, basically. It don't matter about age, OG. My thing is, if I have a message, you respect it regardless of age or whatever it is, respectfully to him, basically. But the thing is, saying the fact of, like, oh, this don't happen, I'm in Dallas, we do that, like, that's uncalled for.
Yeah, but you got to remember who you're talking to, too. Like, you talk to a 7-year-old the same way you talk to an 18-year-old?
Oh, no, true. But my thing is,
dumb it down.
But my thing is, you're also intriguing and also interior more violent because you're talking to a person of violent character and you're not even about that. You're basically quote unquote a rat to the people of the genre hip hop. You're the sole quote unquote hip hop policeman, basically. That's what I'm saying. He has the badge. He proved it. So you can't sit and talk tough and then say, I got the police on my side right here. You do anything. Then you go to one side and say, I got the gun in my truck. So what are you basically?
Because the issue is, why are you trying to do something illegal to hurt me in the first place? I'm using my words. Use your words. If you have a problem with what I'm saying, use your words. Why does it have to be physical? Because I'm saying something to you that you know is right, and you can't give me a educated rebuttal. So then you want to resort to violence.
I would counter that with, why is he antagonizing these people? Like you don't see him going around antagonizing white people.
But that's what's wrong with black people. When they get challenged, they get what?
defensive.
Defensive, man.
Yeah, instead of giving a actual educated response strategically in the same energy that they're receiving it, they get emotional. Exactly.
But my thing, like Black State, also thing is you give the message to. My thing is Jay Prince is not saying quote unquote educated person, but another thing is you a street dude basically. Charleston White, you're not the street guy, but you're trying to antagonize the street guy, and it's gonna take to that level. So either you gotta meet at my playing field, or it's gonna reach that level.
But see, I think that the message he's sending is okay. You being as old as you are, Jay Prince, being a street guy, because he never really calls himself that. Let's be honest. Jay Prince doesn't use that terminology to describe himself at this point in his life because he's mature enough to know not to call himself a street dude. You know what I mean? My thing is, you don't have the same appeal in that white community that you do in the black community. So Charles and White's problem with him is you being as old as you are, with the influence you have, with the money you have, why have you not elevated your influence to another level where now government officials are calling you on the phone, hitting you up, the way Barack Obama hit Jay-Z up when he was trying to run for president?
Because his manner and how he moves is not respected by those type of people. He's a clout chaser, period.
And also
You talking about Prince?
No,
Charleston
Charles
White.
I'm talking about Prince.
Oh, you talking about Prince?
Yeah, like why? Like at his age, at his level, what he's accomplished in hip hop, he should be able to have a senator or a governor call him like, "Hey Jay, I'm trying to get something. I'm trying to get the people of Texas behind me for these votes."
Well,
They're not calling him for that.
You got to give up the streets. You can't have one foot in, one foot out.
Well, my thing is also comfortability. My thing is that if you look at an age base like that, if I'm comfortable in my own zone, basically, I don't have to step outside my playing field. I'm going to live my life, basically. Like I said, if I run my little town here, my little cubicle here, I don't got to step outside my bubble, I'm going to feel comfortable. And my thing is that a guy that age and his plateau, basically, he might not feel like it's not comfortable to step out my platform because I don't have protection, or I'm going to look like an asshole because you can't articulate or say certain things to people of Congress or other people. And the thing is, you go like this is another street nigga talking this bullshit. You don't run nothing, basically. You run a small minority, basically, a small cubicle of that.
All right, so stay right there. So let's just say for the sake of the argument, he does feel like that. Why should he represent our community? Because we're trying to get to that next level where we could possibly not saying take over, but be the face of what America is now.
But the thing is, he has,
you know what I'm saying? Because
power.
But power how?
Because the thing is also like I
Because
said,
real power is legislation.
well, no, the thing is he has
Real
community.
power is judicial.
His power
is community.
Real power is executive, though.
His power is his leadership skills, like Kanye said. Just because Larry Hoover is in jail, he was a gangster, don't mean that he isn't a great leader.
Yeah,
Exactly, but at what
That's his power.
point? At what point are we going to take it from? You got to remember, we are less than 5% of the population in America. Believe it or not, you know what I mean? Because we live on the coast, left, east and west, a little bit in the south. You know what I'm saying? And more so the southern east, not the southern west, the southern east. But the whole rest of the part of the United States of America is mostly white Caucasian people. So we don't make up the majority of the population. So when you talk about power, if it's not in legislative, judicial, or executive, we don't got no real fucking power. Because that's how you really run this country, in those three branches
So
of government.
What controls that? Money, right?
Yeah. And so the question is, we are the 90% of the guys getting drafted in the first round in the NFL, in the NBA, where the guys is making moves in baseball. You know what I'm saying? Whether you be Dominican, Hispanic, or African American, we're the guys that are trying to get the majority of the money to in terms of, trying to keep the sport alive. We're the guys being the shakers and movers in the MLS now, trying to build his brand up, and all these other different leagues where they're paying you X amount of dollars from $75,000 to upwards to millions of dollars. You know what I mean? What are we doing with our money? Because we're in positions now where we can start infiltrating legislative, executive, judicial branches of the government. Yeah. Why are we not taking those steps? Because that is where the real power in this country resides.
Now it comes down to the real power, which is knowledge. So if you don't know what to do with the money or how to do it, then you ain't gonna do it.
I think some of them do, and I think some of them try, but it's not that many, so it may fail.
Well, and also you don't have, like you said, you don't have the mind of figure leader issue. Like I say, with agents, basically, as far as like general managers, some of that too. So the people that's trying to teach these gentlemen how to move to the next level of that, you don't have a leader. You don't have a person like I say, like, well, all right, you're my general manager. How do I move up the level here? Or if I'm a retired person that's retiring, basically, like a player, well, what's the next step for me, basically? Do I do this to the third, basically? And the thing is, the Caucasian community, yeah, and the perfect like him. Don Assassin is the perfect. He's a perfect topic. Like I said, Don Assassin.
Oh, now he is.
Now
he is. Okay.
He's a perfect topic. Like I said, I get a man respect. Like I said,
That's your man now.
I admit this. I did have problems. Like I said, my thing is also, but he is doing a great thing. Like I said, like the thing
go ahead.
I'm gonna keep my same energy. My thing, I feel like with him is also he's taking roster spots up too. But the fact that is he also is a old head to the point where he does guide the players a certain thing, but also my thing is you're taking that roster spot, brother. It's time to get it up. Get that shit up. That's my point. Get the spot up, bro. What are you doing? You have to get the spot up, basically. You're 43. You're not doing anything. Give the spot up, basically. You're the OG of the team. I understand that, but it's not 1995, basically. Like we need other opportunities. My thing is we need people like you to move up so we can say like, well, damn, you went from player, blah blah blah. Man, you know the person did that? James Jones did that. He went from player to lower to general. Exactly. So my thing, and he's 20, but maybe a little bit younger than you think. So my thing is, what are you doing? You see somebody James Jones on that. He's a general manager of Phoenix Suns right now.
Yo, this what I think though. Like to be honest, like to be completely honest, right? I think America as a system itself, I think America is rigged.
Of course.
I think America is rigged because you can't tell me with a straight face that when you look at the richest people that reside in America, they're not athletes, majority of them. They're not entertainers. They're not musicians. They're not people with like exceptional skill at anything that people find entertaining, right? They're just people that make really good investments. They came from, a millionaire parent or something like that. And they just happen to invest in the right thing at the right time, and then but we all know that they get heads up about what to invest their money in, even though that's called insider trading. But insider trading technically is legal to the inner circle of people who do it because that's who does it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you can't, as a black person or a brown person, you can't win in this country because it's not designed for you to win. This country literally was built by people who were lower class people in the United Kingdom. And the United Kingdom was saying, you're never going to be nothing more than what you are here. But if you're willing to get on a boat and go to the new world, quote unquote, where anything can happen to you, go ahead. By all means, do your thing. You know what I mean? I'll invest a little money into the boat to get you there, and food, supplies, whatever. Just give me my percentage if you happen to survive and make it. You know what I mean? And then go do your thing. That's how the country was started. You know what I mean? So the people who took that chance because they were never going to be shit where they were in the United Kingdom came here and got some shit popping because they killed the natives here. They stole their land. They stole their resources. They went and did dealings with African kings in West Africa and took their people and used them for work labor. You know what I mean? Like they were able to build something for themselves. You know what I mean? They're not about to share their quote unquote so-called hard work that they did with people that are coming here as immigrants who didn't sow the seeds to make America America. They're going to rig this shit so that they continue to win and everybody else just gets their little piece of the pie. Yes. But they control who gets the cuts. Exactly. You know what I mean? So I'm like, as a black person, if you're really, really trying to get up, you're really, really trying to be free, you got to get the fuck out of here. You know what I mean? You got to get the fuck out of here because luckily for us, the rest of the world is catching up to America economically. You know what I mean? Whereas the real value is in the black and brown people in this country because we're the ones that make this country spin the way it spins. If we go to Ghana, if we go to wherever, we can build wealth there.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you portray that message to the average common black gentleman that's
just generally to the masses?
Yeah, it's a masterpiece. Like, how do you relate that to a young fella that's 18, 16 years old, basically don't know about the world. All he know about is like I say, a cubicle, basically. All I know about Philadelphia, like he looking at you like, what you a philosopher? What do you know? Like I'm saying. So my thing is also, like I said, we don't have the monument leaders of, as far as in bracket wise, as far as our community, as far as up in the government, basically. You don't have that shit because everything in now is visualized. Everything is social media. Everything is like I have it. Man, here now. Yeah, you don't have that. I don't have the old head on the corner basically telling me like, yo, young fella, you want this, that, you don't have it because everybody's jealous.
Oh, first of all, you seen the 5%ers up at the Barclays Center. You seen them.
Yeah, but I'm saying, but my thing is all 5%. My thing is back in the day though is you had somebody that, like, quote unquote was a drug dealer basically, but he'd tell you like don't do this basically or that. Like, so I'm saying the thing is there's no more respect for people now. The thing is, like I said, everybody feels like we're equal now. My thing is we're all equal on a certain platform, but my thing is if the old way tell you something, listen to it. Like nobody has values or morals about anything nowadays. Basically, everybody feel like I have an opinion on something, but my thing is what you don't know, you can also learn from somebody else. And people don't want to learn from others because I have the knowledge now because social media. You don't have the experience of this. Gotta have the knowledge. Some might have the physical, actual experience to do that, basically. And that's the problem with people is I got something now. I can grab it. I can hold on to it. It's mine. But if you got something you hold on mine, you don't know what to do with it. You're useless. You're useless.
My thing is like when you talk to the youth, you got to break it down to them and just keep it basic. Like, it's real simple. Nigga, are you trying to win or are you trying to lose? Because your mom is living where she's living. Your dad's living where he's living. You living how you living. If you like what you're living and you like what you're doing, keep doing what you're doing. If you want better, you got to start thinking different. You know what I mean? It's, at a certain point, you got to realize what America is about. Like the fact that you still have people, like for instance, in the music industry, you still have people that are afraid to put people on, afraid to help people because they don't want them getting a bag that they could get. Those are stupid people that don't understand that the money is not real. The money's not backed by any gold, any cobalt. It's not backed by no type of natural resources. They literally just print this shit every day.
Not even oil no more.
Yeah, not even oil. The money is literally infinite. There's no cutoff to how much money we can print in American currency.
It's just a number, basically.
Yeah, just a number. Yeah, so why are you worried about the next person getting paid? Because it's not money you're gonna lose because you can get the same amount of money, if not more, when your opportunity comes. You know the fact that a lot of people in our community don't understand our system and how it's made and how it's created and how it's actually fluctuating as we speak is why people are still stuck doing the same crabby shit they was doing decades before.
But my thing is, how do you break the cycle of the fact that, like, say all four of us here basically make money? How do I stop the fact that my jealousy of counting each one of y'all pockets, basically? That's the mindset right there, period.
So, to that point, I would say social media is a big culprit of that. Everybody is just looking and comparing and all that stuff. And there's so many distractions, and the distractions is keeping you from seeking different knowledge, like knowing like the real resources is over in Africa when they just found like a rock that's worth 27 million a gram. They found rocks that you can light a light bulb with when you plug it up to a rock. Like, once we know better, we gonna do better. Period.
My thing is how do you put that to a point in the platform of social media where somebody's going to entertain and get that and want to grasp it? Because like I said, the era of now we live in is the microwave age. My thing is I can show you that right now. I'll think about that 10, 15 minutes from now. So my thing is, how do I grasp something? And I want to think like, all right, cool. It's right in front of me. I gotta have it and want it. Basically, thing is, it's anything. If I can grab something so fast now, this is like I said, social media is the complex greatest thing, but it's the worst thing because now everything is microwave easy now, and the thing is, it's no thought process of going through step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now it's like I'm on 1 to fucking 100, and it's like you can't do it now because you're skipping steps now. You can't skip steps in nothing in life or anything you do.
Social media, they just make you want instant gratification. It's like, I want to get to here, but you got to honor the journey because within the journey, you know it's about the steps and what you pick up along the way.
I'm agreeing. So.
What is your battle?
I was gonna say it, but he already
No,
you good, bro.
My thing is also like you said, it's like anything. You got to show your battle scars. My thing is, I feel like people don't want to be vulnerable to certain things too, and show their battle scars of like, this is who I am. Basically, you have to have battle scars of anything you do. It's wounds, it's falls, it's getting up and getting the fuck back up. Like you have to do it because there's not nothing. I can't cheat my way to the top. There's no way because in the day it's not authentic. It's not grasping to people. It's like, well, damn, man, with the top, it's like, I don't know even how you get up here. Or he knows so-and-so. But if I'm generally doing that basically where I'm taking the steps to it, I can show like, well, look, I can work my ass off for A, B, C, and third here. I can go any task you tell me now because I have the knowledge and tools and the experience doing it. It's just anything like what any of us, do a job and be like, I've been through A, B, C, and third job. You ask somebody now, a job, they'll be like, well, I put the one job here, but I don't it's like, it's you have to go through experience. You have to experience it. You have to fall on your ass. And people don't like to do it. That's the problem now.
It's because people are not comfortable with change.
Yeah, but my thing is, if you're not comfortable with change, then the whole message is never gonna change. We're always gonna say like,
That's why it's not.
yeah,
That's why.
That's how they designed it, like Rick said. Like
that's how it's
rigged.
designed.
Like it's rigged.
we gotta break the cycle. Unfortunately, I mean, the message has been going on for centuries now. You have to break the cycle, and there has to be change.
Well, I mean, I think what it takes is somebody at some point has to just like when you have kids, right? I think the way you talk to your kids, you have to let them know is like everybody can't go.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody can't go. Everybody can't win. But the stuff I'm telling you right now, if you apply it, you will be one of the winners. It's like Eric Thomas says, winners win and losers lose. I can't explain it.
But my man, let me ask you about this though. How do you tell a kid nowadays, basically, that doesn't have that same plateau to say, well, I want to know why, basically. My thing is that the thing of now what it is, there's, like I said, at least back to my point, the children nowadays want to know why now instead of just staying in the root and learning. My thing is you don't always have to know why. When we were kids, basically, we didn't ask why. We stood in our place and we learned that shit from step to step.
Our heads knocked off.
That's what I'm saying. And my thing is the problem. Like I said, there's too much obtaining and too much ability to grasp of it. If I'm 5 years old, I can know how to basically use a gun, play a video game, and do a TV. My thing is when I was 5, I knew certain things are cool, and I learned it because I had approval. Basically, my thing is now there's no more approval. It's like I'm just going to do it now. I'm gonna take it. And the thing is, there's no nah, you can't get it. It's why I can't do it. It's too many choices. It's too many avenues and lanes now because, like I said, the average 5-year-old have a phone now, and I was access to iPhone or Android. I didn't know how to use a phone. I know how to use basically a regular old house phone here and there. The thing is now, a kid know how to use the internet, but it's like you don't have no life skills of how you had no. My thing is
that comes along. That came with kids raising kids.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Because they didn't have the values of a parent or know how to be one.
And that deals with I said, like I told y'all before, it deals with like that from the 70s to the 80s. Basically, it's Reaganomics. Basically, the people of the 80s now, basically, like I said, now to 90s, the president like that stuff wiped out. Reaganomics wiped out all fibers of them. Basically, like we got it now. Basically, with the average people now from the 90s now is people. The average parent you figure is what 25 to 15 now. Basically, back then it wasn't like that. The average parent was 30 to 35, 25 was married and had a structure on it. The thing is now we don't have it.
So now with technology being so advanced as it is, like the intelligence of kids is raising. So it's like when you got young parents and they wait, when the parents are saying like why you asking why, don't ask why. Their mind is like the kid's mind is going and saying this is why I'm asking why, like I'm trying to learn more and more. But when you shutting them down, they're not gonna want to learn more.
Yeah, but my thing is also you gotta have a cap on things. My thing is also like I never said that your mind capable of learning things. My thing is also the mind can't. A 5-year-old can't know what's about sex now. Basically, like I said, the thing is now it shouldn't be that way. My thing is there are patterns of life you have to go through. You can't skip steps in life. Stages. I'm saying my thing is to child. Like I said, now you can learn things about certain stuff. But now my thing is now you 5 years old. You know about sex. You know about drugs, guns. You know what? We didn't know about that. We saw a 5-year-old. We saw a sex team. Cover your eyes.
But that's the job of the parent to like instill certain things that they can learn from. Like if YouTube and Instagram is raising your kids, yeah, they gonna go to that stuff.
Well, that's mostly what you said. Now your point, like I said, kids are raising kids now. Like I said, the point is now there's no, like I said, the thing is now there's no grandma. There's like how Black Point said, there's no mom, there's no grandma, there's no pop. There's nobody saying you better sit your fine ass down if I make change. Like there's nobody popping their kid now. Basically, there's nobody doing nothing like yo, sit your ass down now if you learn something. Like I'll give you a prime example now. Like my 15-year-old niece, basically, my dad is 65. He give her aspect like, yo, this is what you gonna learn here, basically. You gonna abide by rules in certain ways, and she learns it. And the thing is, you need that because even though the age gap is different, she learns something from him, he learns something from her, basically. And that's how we move as a unit. The one thing my pop said, basically, we have to move as a culture, basically. The culture, you can't raise it. One person can't raise a kid. The culture has to raise a kid. And that's the thing about it.
So the culture is raising the kid, right? So what keeps the structure of the family unit together most in America and around the world, basically?
The father.
The father, that's one, yeah. But I would say religion.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So, with religion is a foundational unit to keep families together. no matter what religion you are, everything is like in media, et cetera, is attacking religion. No matter what religion you are, they doing that to break down the foundation of the family unit and control people's minds.
And also, my thing is, you also play on mind with kids' religion. You dissect and pick it basically. And the thing is, it's three different points of religion because now the fact that you got your part of religion, I got my part of religion now. This is the generation, this is not that one. It's all the same thing, basically. It's all the same message, basically. Like it's just me saying to you a different way, basically. And that's the thing about it is the thing is now the generation gap, basically. You figure that the person now our age, we consider old age, like that's not that. The old age was 45. Now, like it's like. At 33, do you really know the same way as a person 33, 10, 15 years ago?
I think with this new generation, you have to challenge them. You have to challenge them a different way. Like you can't use the same old tactics that our parents use, our grandparents use. Like that's not gonna cut it. Like you have to really like, for instance, like you have to tell a person, man to man, you got a kid, I got a kid. The way you moving is not intrusive to your kid winning. Maybe my kid will give your kid a job one day. You know what I mean? Like, because we know each other. Maybe your son can go to my son and get a job from him. You know what I mean? Like, that's what you want your kid to be reduced to? Like, going to another person to get a job because he couldn't compete? Because this person is way above his status in the American system? Understand the system that you're in. Understand the game you're playing. You can't show up on a basketball court with a fucking football and think you're going to compete. You know what I mean? And a lot of times, that's what's literally happening. Like, when I look at my Facebook, for instance, like, no disrespect to nobody on my Facebook friends. When I look at my Facebook, for instance, I look at some of the shit that people are posting, and they're literally out here with a football on a fucking basketball court, and they're wondering why shit is the way it is. Like, it's the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like, remind you, this is on the route. It's a test run we're doing. We're probably going to publish this after we do our first official episode. You know what I mean? Just so people can hear how raw it sounded before we really started going. You know what I mean? But yeah, let's keep it funky. Like, you know, we're at the 40-minute mark. Let's keep it funky. Like, there are people on my Facebook, and I'm just looking at them like the same age as me. I'm 39, turning 40. There's people on my Facebook. I'm looking at them like, you still haven't understand how this shit is played. Like, we live in America. You're still playing the game of, you know, God's gonna look out for me. God's gonna help me get through. God's gonna do this. God's gonna do that. Yeah, he's gonna keep you from dying, of course. But him keeping you from dying is not you winning.
That's the not growing up.
You know what I mean? Him keeping you from dying is you still being the 15th man on the bench on a team. But you're not the guy that's winning. You're not the guy that's getting recognized for winning. You know what I mean? You're just there. You got a jersey on. You're there. Living in America, you have a jersey on. You're there.
What do they call them?
Just here-ass niggas. You're a here-ass nigga. You know what I mean? Yeah, you might get a ring because you're American, but you're not getting recognized for being a champion because you weren't actually playing and affecting the win. So you're just there.
So is you down passing basically right now.
Oh God.
Okay, well, you said that. I didn't say
played
that.
for all those rings, buddy.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, here ass nigga.
Look it up.
But I think the saddest part is that some of these people have children, and I can look at them already and say, this is how you think? This is what you're telling your child.
Yep.
Your child is losing before they even start.
Yep.
They're losing before they even start because you don't understand how this game is played in America.
But parents are so soft nowadays. It's like, it's okay if you participate. Participation trophies is cool. Like, no, you trying. You play to win. Like, what you talking about? Like,
We had the floor.
That gets on my nerves.
you play to win. Like,
You had the floor, brother. You better
Ooh,
speak to
and you know who the main culprit in this?
yo, hey, yo.
You know who the main culprit in this is? Black women. I'm telling you.
Speak your truth, bro. Speak your
I tell
truth.
you, boy.
Speak
They
your
tell
truth.
that look. They tell their kids all the time. It's okay, baby. It's okay. No, it's not okay. Get off your ass, dust off your scrapes, and get in first place.
This is black. This is black.
Seriously,
I was waiting for this.
I've been telling my daughter this her whole life. My daughter be 18 this year, and I tell her all the time. She fall down and she cry. I'm like, yeah, dry them tears up, baby. Because guess what? We gonna be in first place. There, no more last place, no more second place. You gotta be in first place. Why I gotta be in first place? Because that's the winning spot. Second place is a loser. Nobody talks about second place. Everybody talks about first place. So get off your ass and get down there. I don't care what it takes. Because guess what? They doing it. Why can't you? They human just like you. So I'm tired of that. Oh, you know what, baby? It's okay. At least you was out there. Why you lost? Why were you there? Like, no, I'm tired of that shit. I've been hearing that shit, seeing that shit from family members, from women I know. But when I was in school, when I was in high school, no, stop holding fucking hands.
Yeah, like that's just like you don't want to accept losing because if the fate of the human race was on the line, are you just going to accept losing?
You're just gonna say, "Oh man, I almost got it," but everybody did.
No, my thing is to reach your point. It's no competitive edge. Like everybody wants to be buddy, but there's no competitive. There's no rivalry. There's no pride for it. My thing is, I understand pride could be bad, but like you have to have some pride in what you do. And feel like, well, look, this is who I feel. This is what representation. This is my badge, basically. Like everybody, well, you have a badge. I have a badge. Like you said, it's basically like it's an all in. Like, well, we all have to get together. It's okay. Okay, let's go. Join hands. There's no competitive.
I think pride is only bad if you don't learn.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't learn, then your pride is bad. Because pride is blocking you from growing. It's blocking you from evolving. Pride is a good thing if you're able to learn and adapt because you're understanding that, I don't want to be a bum. I don't want to be down on the bottom. I don't want to be a loser. So I'm going to learn what I need to learn so I can improve. And it takes pride to want to improve. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Some people just don't care because they call themselves being selfless or being not having ego and they think that somehow makes them a good person. And that doesn't make you a good person if you accept being at the bottom, being a loser, being a have-not.
Makes you lazy.
Yeah, it makes you lazy. Yeah, being a have-not. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, like no, like a lot of that stuff, a lot of those good qualities have to be instilled, and that's the job of a parent. You have to equip your children with the ability to be able to win. That's literally what you're supposed to do.
But that leads back to people being lazy. A lot of people, being a parent, like you said, like I don't know if I'm saying from experience, parent is being a job. Basically, it's a job that nobody wants to be like, well, they don't be a parent today. It's like you choosing, like, well, I'm gonna be a human being. I'm gonna be a parent. I'm gonna be a female male. Like you have to choose. Like being a parent is a main aspect. Like I said, the kid wasn't asked to be here, so you have to do your job. You have to lead by example.
I think the worst thing that could happen is, as a parent, you having an ideology, your child having a different mindset, and your child being right and you being wrong. I think that is probably the worst fucking scenario. It's one thing when you're right and your child is wrong because your child will come to you later like, yo, thank you for being like, like let me know that I was messing up. Like, blah, 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 blah. I get it now. But when you're wrong and your child is right, that's a lot of weight you got to carry. Mm-hmm. Because whatever your child is going through as an adult, you kind of started that.
Yeah, but then you got to realize as people, you have the ability to be wrong as well. Like, not everything you're going to do is right. You're not going to always be on the right path. You're not going to always be a good parent. So there going to be phases and times where you're going to do stuff and lash out because you had a bad day and your kid get the brunt of it and then you got to go back and you got to fix it later. But that's a part of it.
But the thing is, some things you can't fix later.
It depends on what it is.
Yeah, exactly. But when it's something that you can't fix later, now how do you deal with that as a parent?
My thing is also, my thing with anything you do is a trial and error basically. My thing is like, and like you said, everything had to trial and error. Like I said, there's no guideline detail of being a parent, a human being, a husband, a friend. Like there's no guideline life until my thing is also like you have to make it to a point where you accept it basically and accept your flaws, what you do, and not saying, well, I didn't have to help on it.
I'm gonna tell you what bothers me about a lot of parents. I gotta sit down for this one. A lot of parents, when they were children, either to them got either physically abused or mentally abused, and these people had children of their own. And because they felt as though a lot of things happened to them as children, they decided to do, quote unquote, what they call the opposite. And I'm not going to beat my kids because my mom beat the shit out of me. Or I'm not going to yell at my kids like that because my dad yelled at me every day. But you have a good job, you have a house, you have a car, you're with somebody that actually wants to be with you, you've actually had success in your life. So why fix it if it ain't broken?
I had numerous ass whooping. My dad used to. My thing
Good
is,
point.
An ass whooping to change your life.
Mm-hmm.
An ass whipping would change the course of. You could be on a wrong path all day long. That ass whipping will put you on the right one. Because look, would you want your parents to whip your ass or life? Because I'm telling you, when that ass one life getting you an ass whooping, you don't know what kind of ass whooping you're gonna get.
See, now you're talking about the system, right? You have to remember, as black people and brown people, the system is not designed by us. It's designed by people who don't want to see us succeed. So naturally, they're going to tell you, if you beat your child, that's bad. If you put your hands on your child, that's bad. If you discipline your child slightly physically, that's an off thing. It's an off thing because they don't want you to like you said, get your child on the right path. Yep. They rather you take the approach of letting your child learn from their mistakes and trying to talk to them. But when they don't learn and they become a certain age and they make a huge mistake, then they're going to discipline your child. And they're going to give your child a felony, which makes your child unable to win in America. Because once you get that F on your report card, I don't care who you are, unless you can rap.
You hear them bars. Clink, 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 clink.
Like unless you can rap or you can sing, if you get that F on your report card, you're finished. You're finished. Because you can't be, if you were an athlete or something like that of that nature, you got an F on your report card. When we say F, we mean like a felony. You're probably not going to be a professional athlete in America because you probably got kicked out of college or something like that, and your draft stock plummeted, and you're not getting drafted, and you're getting paid way less than what you should have got paid, or if you got an opportunity to even get paid. So you're pretty much finished at that point. They would rather that happen to your child because you were just talking to your child and just trying to psychology with your child instead of actually letting your child know these are the repercussions when you do these things.
Yeah, because they profit off it.
Exactly.
Yeah, and then you know what they tell kids about timeout nowadays? They said a kid shouldn't be in timeout no longer than their age.
What?
Is that minutes or hours?
That's minutes. Longer than their age. This is what they teach. You know, when you go to school for child psychology, this is what they tell you.
And now I've seen where I was doing the mail, because this is on the route, the podcast. Mail carriers talking to mail carriers. I've seen a white father come outside and yoke the shit out of his son and drag his ass back in the house because he told him to do something. He wasn't listening. He yoked his ass right up the same way we used to yoke our kids up. He's looking at me and I was looking at him like, hey, you gotta do what you had to do, player.
Yep. Do what you was told.
Like I'm talking about the dad. Like, I'm looking at him like you ain't wrong for doing what you had to do. My dad would do the same shit when I was that age. He said he told the kid, don't drive the bike this far down the block. He didn't listen. He grabbed his ass right off the bike and took the bike, brought his ass right back inside.
Would you rather get yoked up or kidnapped or get hit by a car?
Exactly. His little brother was looking at him like, you should listen to dad because he told you. That's why my ass is staying right here on the tricycle doing what I'm doing.
And my thing also, I'll tell you, like, the thing is, there's no interference no more. Like I said, I need to respect interference. Like, there's no interference with the parent basically. It's like, back then, like I said, our parents, like, certain they was a boogeyman. It was like, all right, cool, what do I test? Like, there's no limitation now. A kid that tests a limited everything. A kid that tests an adult now. I'm like, yo, when did this become the normal, like, well, shit, fuck what my mom say. I'm a tester, or I'm gonna kill my mom because I don't get what I want. Like, that's not what life should be like. The thing is, there are rules and regulations, certain things you have to follow as a kid, basically.
Yeah, but that goes back to what Aaron said a couple minutes ago. People respect what? Fear. Yeah. At the end of the day, people may say it's cruel, but at the end of the day, there has to be a certain level of fear that your child has for you.
Exactly.
It has to be.
Because people fear the government. Yep. And they do what they're supposed to because they're afraid of going to jail. They're afraid of the army. They're afraid of the Navy. They're afraid of this, that, and the third. Fear is something that keeps structure in order.
Yep. And it has to be. Especially with your kid. Because they will try you because that's a person. They will try you. If they can do it, they will do it.
It's all a part of growth. Like, you want to test your limits and see what you can get away with, what you can do.
Yeah.
But my thing is, though, also, like I said, the thing is, once in a while with space now, like I said, when you strip power from people with certain things, my thing is now, it's like, well, I can do whatever now. As long as like I said, it's catch me if you can now, basically. That's what it is. Right now, obviously, it is. It's catch me if you can now, basically, because there's so much going on to the point now. It's like, are you really going to catch me? As long as I cover my tracks, I'm like, you ain't not covering me. The only thing that catch me now is Cameron, basically. But I'm sneaking up and smart enough to avoid cameras. You can't do that now. Like I said, social media, that's the thing. You look at most things now, people get put up with is social media. Filming themselves, looking at cameras, your friends, all that. That's how you get caught nowadays, unfortunately.
So how does one parent, when they're a single parent and they're working 12 to 16 hour shifts, like how how do they do that? Like, I look at them, I'm like, damn, that's valiant. Like, that's real honorable.
Yeah.
It's like,
And how and still take care of their child.
yeah,
You know what they say? It takes a village, right?
yeah.
And that's where the village comes in place.
And speaking on that tip, bro, I thought about this, like, cause like my, like I said, like my 4-year-old's doing like the basketball thing, like like a month and a half or whatever. My older son, cause he goes to school, I see that there's a lot of black and brown kids at his school. So I kind of wonder because I always see like the mom or whatever dynamic. I don't know if the dad is there. So part of me is kind of like, yo, like, would it be too forward of me to try to be a mentor to the black and brown children that go to his school that don't probably have that type of influence, so that I can give them a fighting chance to actually really, because their parent already did, their mom or whoever did it, what they could do to get them in that school, which means they live in that environment. You know what I mean? But you still going to need some type of male person to talk to that kid so that they don't make the wrong mistakes, because Norristown is like a stone's throw away from where I live at. You know what I mean? And you can easily fall into whatever goes on over there because you don't have anybody to tell you, yo, that ain't the move. That ain't the way to go. You know what I mean? Like a lot of my son's friends, for lack of environment, some of them are white, but he has like black friends and brown friends. I wonder, if they have that same dynamic that he has and his white friends have. You know what I mean? Which is something I got to ask him about. But it's like I ask myself, like, is that my responsibility? You know what I mean? But it's like I feel like if I have the time to do it to actually help, you know what I mean? Why not help? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
I think it's all our responsibility as a collective community to raise each other in a upward momentum. Like, I think that's all our responsibility.
Yeah,
I agree.
Let's start with, like you said, let's start with like community, like leaders. Like I said, like when I played sports, I had like family members. Like my dad was a umpire. Like we had a community salvation. I remember you said like, so like the thing is, people are scared to do that because of the fact that nobody wants to deal with like the quote unquote shit is nobody wants to deal with nobody else's badass kid right now, basically, because they don't fucking listen. And the thing is, if I ridicule your kid, basically, the first thing you say is, well, why are you talking to my kid like this? Somebody got to do it. Obviously, you're not doing it. That's the problem, basically. And you tell it to like Black Point. You tell a woman that right now, basically, well, who you that third or that? And you ask a question, where's father at? Well, that's not your business. Well, that's the problem right there, basically.
And like you said, based off of that, you got to ask that woman because she is the sole person that's responsible for that child, especially if it's a male child. Do you want him to win or do you want him to lose? You gotta ask. You gotta put it out there to her. Do you want him to win or do you want him to lose? Because, tell her to say, I know you mean well. You're doing what you can do, but he still needs a male influence. Without that, he will lose.
But like the Black Point is though, if the parent got still got the kid mentality is, how are you get that message across to a woman that got a kid mentality that can't think like that? And she's sitting there stuck in her 15-year-old mind like.
That's the thing, because she probably never had a father. So she understands the importance of it because she never had it. Yeah. And a man never said that to her directly. Do you want your son to win or you want him to lose? Yeah. What you want?
You got women like that think, oh, I ain't have a dad, he don't need one either.
Exactly.
Like, okay, but that's what you got to break it down to her. Okay, all right, that's cool. You got a good job. You're doing your thing. Say she lives in my neighborhood or whatever. She got a good job. She's doing her thing. One thing is you didn't have a father, so that's why you're single now, because you don't know how to pick a real man. You never saw one. So right now, you might not feel like you're losing, but you're losing because you're supposed to have a spouse.
Your kid's losing.
Yeah, your kid is missing a very vital part of what he needs to develop. And it's not your fault because you were never taught how to find a proper man because you never saw one.
Well, there was a lot of arrogant women. Like my thing is that nowadays, the mindset women ready for like, I don't need no man. That's the problem too. Also too, like if I'm telling you this bitch, you don't need no man like that. You're gonna feel that way, like, well, I can talk about the quote unquote was I can do all bad by myself, and it's like that's the terrible thing.
And that's when you tell them. The thing that I like to say to women a lot of times that are single moms, no disrespect, you don't love your kid as much as I love my kid, because my pride is not that much that I feel like my kid does need a female component to help my kid develop. I know, even though I have sons, because I don't have daughters, I have sons, they still need a mother so they can understand what caregiving is. They understand what nurturing is. Because I can't really do that.
Woman.
You know what I mean? I can't have my son just be super alpha male masculine dude You know what I mean? Because he's never going to find a woman and treat her the proper way because he doesn't know how to nurture. You know what I mean? Like, you need a woman too, just like you need a man to help raise a child, whether it's a boy or a girl.
Yeah, because everybody has their job. Like, as a man, as a father, your job is to instill toughness. Your job is to, when they get hurt, to let them know that it's okay. You'll get stronger. Like, your job is to make them mentally tough when people think, people talk shit to them or people say things to them. And a woman's job is to, nurture, cuddle them up when they need to be cuddled, when they crying, calm them down, and, we instill the toughness. That's how it works.
Yeah. You know what I mean? I think for a single mother to understand, I know you trying to do my job as a man, but you can't do my job. Sorry, you can't do it.
Can't do it.
You know what I mean? You can do your impersonation of it, but it's not the same thing. You can tell the guys who don't have that because when they get in a relationship with a woman, they're arguing with a girl like they're the chick. The same argument she has with her girlfriend, she has with you. That should not be the scenario. That should not be the scenario. Like I shouldn't hear you and your girl in aisle 7 in Walmart. Yo, I fucking told you, yo. I'm sick of your shit, yo. I'm sick of your shit. You always tripping. It shouldn't even get that far. It shouldn't even get that far. I should hear her screaming. You be like, yo, you need to relax. We in Target right now. You gotta chill out. And then she just calms down because she feels embarrassed because she's the only one screaming right now. You know what I mean? She brings it down a notch.
We call those women?
Hood boogers. Definitely hood boogers.
Brandon said hood boogers. That's what they call it.
No, what is a hood booger, brother?
Yeah, Brandon, break that down. What is it? What is a hood booger? We got like a minute left. What is a hood booger?
And wait. And is hood booger subject to only one gender?
No, it's both genders.
Both?
Yeah. Dude could be
So a hood booger is male or female?
Yeah, but I mean, most of the time you run into more so female hood boogers.
So what you're saying is there's a person with a ghetto mentality that doesn't understand what it means to be a full-fledged adult?
Yes.
Okay.
Give us an example.
And with that note, that will be the end of our test run for On the Route. This is Brandon Morton, Aaron Emmons, Black.
Whoa. That is Christopher Paul, artist. Thank you.
Oh, no, it's
Yo, aka Black.
AKA Rick Sean.
And Rick Sean signing off on our test run. Thank you guys. It's our test run. We will put this out after our first official episode so you hear how bad this shit was before we finally got it right. But you can get an idea, Thank you.